It is no longer a secret that I wrote a letter to the party on my position in Bauchi, what I have found out to be working against me as a leader and as a first-term governor going for my second term. And I wrote it with all honesty and sincerity and with a deep sense of fidelity. And that is why the party invited me to go and discuss with the flag bearer of the PDP, our leader, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. And we discussed extensively, and I have gotten some explanations because the letter I wrote was not only written by me, it was written by the PDP family in Bauchi and the government of Bauchi.
We are here for reconciliation. We have never closed the door for reconciliation. All we are saying for equity, fairness, and justice. That's not, in fact, that is the hallmark of what PDP stands for equity, fairness, and what? Justice. We have never closed door, and we will not close door. All we are saying, look, let the right thing be done. If the right thing is done, you will see how the whole place will be, the whole country will know that the election is over. This is the bedrock of the party. This G5 you are seeing, we are the bedrock of the party. So we will not close the door for reconciliation.
All right, welcome back to Sunrise Daily. Well, focusing on developments within the People's Democratic Party. We've got two gentlemen joining us. Senator Olakanwogu is a member of the PDP. He joins us from River State. As well as Matthias Sado, also a member of the PDP, joins us from Minna in Niger State. Gentlemen, good morning and thank you for joining us on the program today. Well, Senator, let me start with you on this matter. Listening to that meeting, of which you were also featuring there, and when you hear the governor speak about we've not shut the door for reconciliation, how do we interpret this? Does that mean now that, is this some form of truce on the part of the governors?
Well, good morning, Chamberlain, and to all the viewers. It's important to put things in perspective. There is no time Governor Wike shut any doors on the party or anybody. He had been consulting since this whole process started, and he made it clear that he was going to get all shades of opinion, hear everybody out, and when decision is made, it will be announced. And there is no time he has announced an alternate party. When he's had issues to grind with the party, he has expressed them, but he has never said, I am not doing PDP, I'm doing that party or the other party. So the process is on. The elections are still quite several weeks, in fact months, but at the best, several weeks away. And there is time for everybody to come to some understanding if it is possible. What he has stood on is principle. For the principle, they are not movable, they are not alterable, they stand. But for the process, it's available. And if common sense prevails at some point and people begin to look at, okay, what's this man saying? What are the merits of what he's saying? What accommodation can we make? Of course, discussions will be held and things will move forward. But to move from those principles will be unfair, will be unjust, and will not be right. Other than that, the party is available to talk with him. He's talking with the party. All goodwill, people of goodwill, leaders still visit him and talk to him about way out. And he's quite receptive. So the G5 will continue to look for ways to resolve this because it's a battle based on principle, not against the party.
Because, I mean, there's been several reports saying that the Group of Five will not support the presidential candidates of the party. So what will common sense be in this case?
Yeah, because things are evolving. They say we will not do this. Then people are talking, and it appears some people are maybe in a position to address the concerns they have. If the concerns are addressed, then they have a responsibility to move things forward. It's about the concerns raised. There are talks ongoing. People are expressing dissent, people are complaining, people are seeing the result on the field in terms of the party campaigns and the movement, and many are saying it's difficult to move without Governor Wike, it's difficult to move without the governor of Enugu, without the governor of Abia, without the governor of Oyo, without the governor of Benue. People PDP leaders who wish well for the party are seeing development and they are intervening. And so long as people keep talking to the governor, of course, he's listening and is receptive. But the hope is that ultimately, as they talk to the governor, they talk to the other parties too. And people can look at, okay, what are the core demands of the governor and the governors, the G5, and how do we accommodate these demands? So anything can happen at any time. His door, the door of the G5 is not closed. If the other people have closed their doors, time will tell. But the G5 doors are open, and they will be open until it is no longer necessary for them to be open. They are not the people causing the problem. They are people seeking a more inclusive party, a progressive party, and a party that can win elections. So their position is what is best for the party and for Nigerians. That's where they stand. So if the others say, okay, fine, we agree with you, we'll work with you, then we have unity and we have movement. But if they don't, it's unfortunate. But they are not the antagonists. So they are not trying to break the party, they are not trying to divide the party, and therefore they are open to, if what I used the word common sense, or some accommodation is found by the others.
Let me bring in Mr. Sado on this matter. Well, watching the campaign trail of the PDP, you don't see the 5 governors, the aggrieved ones, joining that campaign trail. And that many interpret as though the party has moved on from whatever it is that they want. So what does this narrative then mean for you and probably for the party, if you can speak in that regard, especially when they interpret it as though they moved on, so things are still going on?
Thank you, Chamberlain. Good morning. I'm so glad to be here. I listened to the senator and I listened to the statement by the governors, and I think I am very pleased by the outcome and the idea that these people have agreed or have said on the national TV that they are open to reconciliation is heartwarming, because this is one of the things that, if you remember, last time I was on your show, I made this plea to the people, the individuals who are in this camp, who are referred to as the G5. Unfortunately, I listened to the senator and he was making reference to the other people and what have you. We are not the other people and they are not the other people. We're a political family. We have some of the issues that we must resolve as a people, as a team together. And the fact that the party is moving on with the campaign does not in any way mean that the governance are not important. As a matter of fact, yesterday I wrote a message to the presidential candidate through the social media platform where I pleaded with him that he should for once, one more time, schedule a meeting with these people and let's sit down, because sincerely, honestly, this is not about Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. This is not about the PDP. This is about the future of this country. And this is what I have been crying about. That look, the nation that everybody is talking about today is on the precipice, and we cannot, for any reason, maybe because of ego or because of some kind of disagreement, allow this nation to fall apart. We have a responsibility to rescue the country. We have seen what the APC has brought to the Nigerian people. We have seen the sufferings on the streets of the country. And I think that should be paramount. That should be the most important thing to the governance today. The thing is not about whether they are aggrieved or anything, but it's about those who look up to them. The millions of Nigerians who are looking up to the PDP on the streets of the country are the ones that should be their subject. Those are the things that should be their concern. So I don't want to go into whether they are irrelevant or not. These people are very, very important. We believe that they know the value But they shouldn't, for any reason, allow the fact that they are important be seen, or they allow themselves to be used as people who will hold the nation to hostage. Because it is not
Mr. Sado,
Alhaji Atiku. I can hear you.
Just 1 second. My apologies for butting in. I just wanted to find out from you, having said that the presidential candidate, I mean, you are asking that he should intervene, get into, the conversation and try to resolve it as much as possible. It is taking quite a length of time. There's some who will be wondering, does that mean to the candidate or to the party that the issues being raised by these governors are not that important?
Ayo, thank you. The issues are very important. But what is the most important issue to Nigerians today? The most important issue to Nigerians today is that they are able to put food on their table, is that they are able to buy petrol at the price that the monies can afford, is that their children
Mr.
are able
Sado, those are governance issues you are mentioning. My apologies. You are mentioning governance issues, and they are very salient. But before we get to governance, we have to take out the politics. And it would seem like it's the politics that's in the way right now of governance. That's why I'm asking that question. The issue of integrity or whatever it is that the governors are asking, that are raising, they have been on the same issue over and over and over again for quite some time. That's why I'm asking if, in your opinion, to the candidate or to the party, those issues are not important enough to address head on.
Ayo, I want to use this platform to call on Governor Wike and his team and call on Alhaji Atiku Abubakar that they should save us from this trouble. This is not what we want to be discussing on the national television at the moment. What is important to us, those who are campaigning for these people, is the problems that we see on the street. Whatever it is that they have as issues, let them meet themselves and resolve these problems. The issues that you refer to as integrity, I do not see it as maybe anybody who there have been accusations here and there, but these things are these are not necessary for us. These are things that the leaders of this party, could sit down, the issues be resolved among themselves. What is most important to most of us, like I mentioned, is how do we get Nigeria working? For them, it is politics. And they must get politics away from governance, because what is important to us, the reason why Matthias Tado joined the PDP is because he believed that PDP has the capacity to be able to restore hope for Nigerians. And that is what is important to Matthias Tado, not the politics. So if there has to be a political play that will affect that idea or that will affect that outcome, I, for one, will be aggrieved. So if they do not take away... Yes, I'm listening to you, Ayo.
Well, I just wanted, I like the part where you talked about you also being aggrieved. I'm wondering what that will produce, because if the governors are aggrieved and no one is talking about it, I'm wondering how many other people are aggrieved that may not be getting attention at this moment. Let me talk to Senator, as well on this matter. That same issue that I raised with Mr. Sado, from the way the party seems to be addressing the issue, if you take another look at it, do you think maybe the party and the candidate are not taking those issues as seriously as the group of 5 governors are taking it?
Yes, I think so. I think we are being, as a party, either negligent or we are playing the ostrich. Even my colleague on this panel, it's easy to say everybody to share their salt. It's easy to say Governor Wike and others, his words should not be used. That isn't a kind word to use on these governors. They should not be used. Used by who? These are people who participated in the process of the party, and there were fundamental issues. First, the convention had certain issues. Governor Wike noted them, but never took any issues on them. He ran the election, he did not win, he congratulated the winner. However imperfect or perfect it was, He congratulated the winner. They said he was going to be vice president candidate. A process was set up. He was the person who the party preferred. He was not taken. He still didn't make any issue. The presidential candidate himself told him, Ayu cannot be sustained as chairman of the party. Ayu himself came and said, if the candidate comes from the north, I will give up. I will leave. And he simply said, okay, let's do this. It's the right thing to do. Move this position to the south as a way of getting an inclusive and a balanced party leadership as we move into the elections. And to also keep the words that we told people. Our national chairman told people, this is what I will do as a thing of honor, so that the fidelity, the bond, the contract we want to have with Nigerians will be something that is based on truth, will be something based on trust, and something cannot be broken by anybody at will. Let's learn to say things that will mean. At that point, the national chairman said he wasn't going anywhere. And in fact, a vote of confidence was now given to him at a function presided over by even our own candidate. At that point, people start wondering, where exactly are we going? And these governors have said, no, the fundamentals must be put right. Let's take the first step of showing good faith and honor. Then every other thing will follow. And since then, leaders, including my colleague on this panel, who should speak truth to power and say, yes, I think at this point we should do the right thing. Are you inhabiting that office has become a burden to the party and it's not helping anybody, it's toxic, he has to go. And they can't call it out. They'll say, plead with Governor Wike. What are you pleading with him for?
Okay, just 1 second.
Pleading with him to do what?
Yes. Just a second, Senator. So Governor Wike said at that meeting yesterday, from the clip that we played, he said that the doors of negotiation are still open. But
yes,
negotiations have been going on for some time. So when he talks about the doors of negotiation still being opened, in your opinion, with whom and what else could be on the table that might sway the 5 governors if the chairman of the party remains in office?
If the chairman of the party remains in office, it keeps the door extremely narrow and difficult to go through. If he decides today, realizing how unhelpful his stay in that office is to the PDP, to the candidate, and to the party, and he saves the candidate of the burden of being such an impediment to his ascension to the presidency of this country, and decides I will do the right thing, the honorable thing, it will bring confidence, it will bring enthusiasm, it will bring belief in people that we are still men of honor and men who say something and will do it. And you see everybody coming together and working, because what we want to do is not just win an election. Like he keeps saying, there are many problems of Nigerians. We want to win an election and actually be different and do the right things and save this country and do the things that will improve the lives of our people. But we need to know that we are honest about it. It starts with how we relate to ourselves and how we conduct our affairs and how we say things to ourselves and hold them to, is our word our bond? If they are, it will be easy. These are trust issues. Show me that I can trust you and I'll follow you. So the doors are always open. Governor Wike has never shut his doors. He just leaves it. Look, maybe at some point people will come, will do the right thing, and we can move on. So if Ayu does not go, those doors, the doors will always be there, but how open, whether they are shut or open, it's a different thing. But I can tell you there will be very wide gates if this first right thing is done. Is the irreducible minimum of the things that set the page of trust active. Once you do this.
Yeah, but we've heard several times how the presidential candidate has maintained his stance concerning whether or not the chairman of the party was going to leave that position. So is the group of 5, why is the group of 5 still expecting that stance will change? Because as things have gone on, the campaign train is moving on. They're not revisiting the matter. They've not changed their stance concerning whether or not they're going to drop it, because from all indications, They made it appears to have stuck to their ground, saying the chairman cannot be removed or cannot step down at this critical point.
I don't think they said he. I think the candidate left it to the chairman to make that decision. He didn't say he cannot step down.
Everybody already knows the position of the chairman.
Yes, yes. And that's where it's a bit unfortunate. Because if the chairman decides to stay in dishonor, why can the party not have the courage to call him to order? A party that is unable to speak truth to his own chairman that is in dishonor has a problem. So going forward, if the campaigns are on, that's fine. Governor Wike and others are not stopping the campaign. But they too are politicians. And they have the capacity to exercise their own political expression in such ways that it matters. And they are going to do so.
But Senator, who has more to lose here? Because the Rivers governor would like his party to win the governorship seat. The Benue State governor perhaps may want to go to the Senate. Ditto for Abia State governor, Enugu State governor. So Oyo State governor wants to win re-election. So really and truly, who has more to lose?
Well, I can tell you from my own perspective, all the governors of the G5 will win the elections they desire to win. I can tell you that because what they fight for is just, is fair. People resonate with them. People tell them that's the right thing. People are happy that leaders can find the courage to be different, even with their own, within their own party, to say the truth and stand by them. Now, on the national picture, I don't know, because Nigerians will decide. This thing is before Nigerians. Are you comfortable with what's going on? If you're comfortable, go ahead. Do you like that people will say things and not keep them? If you like, go ahead. If you don't like it, then call them to order. I know that the PDP is a party we are proud of, and it's not about the PDP. It's about the current leadership of the PDP.
Yeah, but at the same time, Senator, we've also seen that in this climb, when the presidency goes to a different political party, they usually have some sort of influence on how the elections turn out, either for the governorship or for the reps, state assemblies, and the likes. So if PDP doesn't win at the national level, the presidency, wouldn't it affect the chances of those governors to get whatever they want politically?
There is something the G5 governors have not said, and I think we must all be patient till they say it. They say what they will not do, but they have not said what they will do. So whether the presidency will go to another party or how they will configure it, that is still what they've kept in the bag. And I think for strategic reasons, they have done what they have done, they've kept it. And I will not try to give you the impression that I know or try to conjecture or give an opinion to what they will do. But what I do know is that they certainly have a clear understanding of what's going on or what they will do. And they've kept it, and when it's right, they'll tell Nigerians, based on this and that, this is what we are doing. And however it falls, I think the integrity that the PDP must hold towards Nigerians is what they want to defend and protect. And they will unveil all of that. People will understand and see. It's going to be quite illuminating, but I think we must be patient for them to get to that point.
All right.
Right now, they keep their doors. They are still hoping that somehow, people will see that things are not working the way they thought. They thought the G5 would just fizzle out. They never thought that these persons will even stay together. Now, not only are they staying together, there are chances there will be G6 and even G7, because if he says, my colleague says he is not happy, people who are not happy are speaking out. And it's not because they are against PDP. They are saying the way we are going about things, our internal leadership should be addressed so we'll be better. And it's a marker of fidelity. It's a marker of our capacity to keep with Nigerians, the honesty. If they're not honest internally.
Well, whether or not they're going to be 6 or 7, it's another matter entirely, because even the 5, many are questioning the commitment of the 5, because, I mean, if you hear the narratives coming through from your governor, some a bit confused as to where his stance actually is. But let me bring in Mr. Sadio on this one. Because you say the 5 governors have said what they will do, but they've not said what perhaps many will interpret as they may be the consequence of their actions. But Mr. Sado, for those who think, well, if you say you're not going to support us at the presidential level, people are running with that, saying, okay, so if they'll not support your party, how then do you see this playing out?
Conjectures. These are things that a lot of people fabricate to put out there for the purpose of just getting attention or having something to say. The governors, I do not believe that these honorable men will go the path of being a member of a political party and decide to work against the political party that they are members of. So let us leave that outside. But I want to call on my...
But Mr. Sado, that has happened before, hasn't it?
Well, you see, it then speaks to honor. It speaks to the honor of those who practice such kind of attitude. But like I was saying, I want to call on my senator brother from Rivers State, who I believe several times he has spoken for Governor Wike on this platform and several other platforms, that look, the most important thing that I believe is that we as a party must look at the moment now is how do we team up to rescue Nigeria. And this is going to continue to be my message, is going to be my statement that, look, for as long as Nigeria is the way it is, being run by the APC, being destroyed by the APC, PDP cannot for any reason allow to fail the Nigerian people. You know, he said a lot of things about equity and all that. And we also understand what is happening in Rivers State, primaries and all that, but nobody is even dragging all this. If you're talking about the capacity and publicity and public acceptance of Governor Wike, why do we have to be recruiting 200,000 people for polling unit management and all that? These are things that are actually there, but we don't want us to drag these issues. He said they should not allow themselves to be used. That's not what I really meant. What I mean is they should not for any reason become albatross in the wheels of clogs in the wheels of progress of our society. And it's not with any disrespect to them, but because we are feeling the pain at the grassroots. I was in Bida a couple of days ago, and I see the love that people have for the PDP. I see what is on the street of Nigeria. I see what people are going through, and this is the pain. We just heard of how many Nigerians were elected in the parliamentary election in US recently. Young, perhaps very young Nigerians. You know, these are the things that we want to see in the country. We want to be able to get to the level where when we come on the national television to speak, we are talking about the issues that affect the people on the streets of the country. And like
it still goes back to the same thing, Mr. Sado. Yeah, you said that, you know, over and over again, and it is quite understandable. It goes back to the same issue that we have raised about the politics of governance, which the first leg has to go out before that of governance really takes root. Now, you said something the other time, perhaps trying to just concretize a point that you were making about the fact that you also could be aggrieved if the right things are not done. As Senator Wogu said, that one governor has come out openly to express himself and align with the 5 governors. And he also alluded, as you heard him earlier say, some other governors may be joining. It means, and you also cited the other time, that you also could be aggrieved. Perhaps then it means that there is a lot of displeasure within the PDP that had just been covered up just so as to make sure that the house is together. Now, it would seem then that the mechanisms for resolving issues and, making sure that the house stays as one within the PDP isn't as functional or as strong as it ought to be, isn't it?
Yeah, Ayo, you see, in fact, thank God you mentioned that I'm going to be, I say I will be aggrieved if the right things are not done. I went into an election and I lost out in the primaries. And the moment the elections were over, I reached out to the people that contested with and the winner, and I said, look, the most important thing for all of us now is to look for how to win the election. In fact, a committee was set up and they were supposed to dispatch a group of people to come and visit me in Kaduna to have a conversation with me. And when the chairman of that committee reached out to me, I said, no, it's not necessary. You do not need to risk your life coming all the way to Kaduna to come and meet me to say you are doing reconciliation. I'm a party man. I've joined this party because I believe that I have something to offer. And I believe that most people who are contesting for election, who contested for election, did this because they have something to offer. If for any reason they were not picked at the point of the election, all you need to do is to put your ideas on the table of the person that won the election and say, look, how do we work together to get this job done? So really, that I will be aggrieved, that does not mean that I will now look for a way to destroy the party or look for a way to bring down the party. You cannot, for any reason, say that because how the house is leaking and water that it's pouring on your head, you should bring down the roof. All you need to do is look for how to amend the roof. And that's what we are saying to the governors and what we're saying to the leader. And like, honestly speaking, I'm not blaming the G5 governors. I'm also blaming our presidential candidate. And I'm calling on him on this national TV this morning. If he's watching this program, look for a way to reach to these people, because I've been inundated by a lot of calls by people who believe that I have access to him, that please call on, let them look for a way to resolve this issue. This issue is beginning to affect a lot of people on the street, not because of the fact that they think that we cannot win the election, but because it is beginning to eat up into our own program. Times that were like this.
All right, gentlemen, we need to wind down.
I should have been able to say a lot of things about the good things that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has as a plan. But look at what we have done for the past 25 minutes on this beautiful platform. All we are talking about is the crisis in the party. We have not been able to talk about how to grow the GDP of the country. We are talking about oil and the issue of refineries and all that.
All
and
right,
these
Mr.
are
Sado,
the things
we
need
to go.
has, and we are not able to speak about these things. And every time we are invited to a platform such as this, I want our leaders to go and resolve this issue behind the closed doors and let us focus on
it's up to them to do that. So, thank you, Mr. Sado. Let me get a final word from Senator Umogu, but if you want to, perhaps in addition to whatever it is that you want to say, but just a quick one on this. We haven't actually gotten a lot of politicians' perspective on this Naira redesign of the CBN and how many thought that they are targeting politicians and all of them who have stashed away monies illegally acquired will be up for it. What's your impression of all of that, though?
Well, quickly, I think it undermines stability. It's coming at the wrong time. This idea of people stashing money wherever they think those monies are, I think are an illusion. We like to believe that monies are locked up everywhere. Now, if our Naira has to buy dollars and people have hidden their Naira somewhere, it means those Nairas are not active. They are not playing a role in inflation. They are not playing a role in dollar exchange rate. So how do you blame high dollar rate and high inflation on those monies that are hidden? It doesn't make sense to me. If those monies are active, you say there's too much money in circulation, but you have money which you claim people have hidden. They are out of the banking system. They are they are not playing any economic activity. So they are not the problem of what you're trying to solve. You're trying to give value to an era. You're trying to bring down inflation. But critically, what affects dollar rate is your dollar earnings. Our oil has gone from 2.4 million barrels. We are doing barely 1 million barrels. Okay. So we are earning half. 2, diaspora earnings are part of what we get. That's part of what sustains us. 3, we import too much. We don't produce anything, and there has not been any plan to increase our production. 4, borrowings. We used to borrow a lot of money, and while we're borrowing $3 million, $4 million, it appears we had money. Now we are having to pay back interest and part of the monies we borrowed. So debt servicing has gone up, and you don't service your debt in Naira, you service in dollar. So the key problems are not people hiding money. Now you're passing this onto the ordinary citizens. First, you said from middle of December to the end of January, elections are in February. What are you trying to do? Even
All
to
right.
do even to do what? I just think that it's going to cause so much chaos and punish people, because to even obtain voters' card took us several months, and you're asking us to exchange all the currency in this country in barely 6 weeks.
Well, we'll see what how all of this plays out, because they've given that timeline. So we'll keep tabs on that. Well, I'm sure they'll keep looking at it, and so if they feel it's not going to work out, they'll find a solution to all of this.
The hardship will be a lot.
But we have to thank both of you for coming on, Senator Olakanwogo and Mataya Sado, both of them members of the PDP.
Thank you very much.